there, July 31st, 2015, what, August, September, October, November, December, do you believe it? 5 more months and we'll be looking at December, we'll be looking at what? We'll be looking at the year 2016, pretty incredible. Seems like time just goes by here at Totally Vocals. I'm sure in your world it is as well. So, this week, I'm finally releasing some footage I've had for a while. I'm always saying that you're going to be hearing about famous singers and this and that, and I have this singer and that singer. Well, here's some footage, released footage, an interview of Bobby Kimball, the lead singer, the original lead singer of Todo, and the voice on all the famous recordings. Definitely the voice on Rosanna, and many others. Rosanna is one of my favorite rock tunes for a lot of reasons. It's got really cool drum grooves in it, and just everything about it. The music just really works. The drum groove is so special, yet not that hard to play, probably if you're a drummer. But it's just really there, and those are the best things when you find that thing that's just so perfect. That's one of the things I always thought about the Beatles drum parts and even bass parts. They were different, not necessarily extremely hard to do, but just correct for the song. And Toto's very much that too. Great musicians and great songs. They were kings of their universes, definitely in their heyday, and their music still it holds the test of time, as they say. So anyway, yep, Bobby Kimball came to the studio quite a while ago, really, when he was on tour. He came in, it was like a blink of an eye. He came in, he jumped up on my keyboard. We put my keyboard on stage, and a friend of mine, Scott Goldberg, played guitar with him. They were going to be doing a concert the following day. They had to do a rehearsal that night. So they literally brought him off of pulled him off of the airplane, brought him to the studio. He jumped up there, played the keyboard. We shot it, and I did a little interview with him, and I know he was tired, so he was very gracious to be here and do the footage. And I've had the footage, like I said, for a while. But finally, I have gotten around to it, amongst all of the other things of working with the courses, to let you see it. And it's going to be exclusive to members on the site. So if you have a membership at totallyvocals.com, you can check out that interview with Bobby Kimball. And I tried to get the most important things that he had to share in relationship to what would be interesting to us as singers. You know, his thoughts about monitor systems, about how he hears, how he sets things up, what he puts in the monitor system, what he doesn't put in the monitor system, history of his background of his singing, and it's all there in the interview. And also he talks about you'll see what I mean about this crazy rock star schedule that he had, because he was coming from one place and he was going to another place and then another place, and getting off an airplane and driving 3.5 hours to the concert and doing the concert, and getting back in the car and 3.5 hours back to the airport and back on the airplane off to another concert. You know, life of a rock star, like I said. Anyway, all of that is there. If you're a member, go check out the interview. It's pretty cool. And it is Bobby Kimball right here at totallyvocals.com. Musical tip of the week. Well, last week one of the 2 topics that I talked about was actual oral hygiene and how important it is in relationship to a singer, and how being on top of that can really make you feel better, not to mention the fact that it's healthy for you, not to mention the fact that your breath will be better, and all of those typical social things. The important thing here as a singer is to take anything away that might be causing problems. And I want to explain or get a little deeper into this and see if I can really hit home a little closer. So I get students and people, and even who are not students, who just in a passing conversation, and once they understand I'm a vocal instructor, they start asking me questions like, why do I clear my throat so much? What's going on with that? Throat clearing, what's happening? Well, there can be different reasons, but one of the biggest reasons for clearing your throat is some aspect of acid reflux. It's reflux. And what is that? Well, let's start with the typical scenario. You are a late night eater. So you eat late in the evening, you have a full stomach or full of whatever, and the gastric juices that help digest your food is getting all mixed up with everything else that's in there, and it breaks it down, and that's how we do what we do. So now you go to sleep and you lay horizontally, and believe it or not, some of that acid reflux will come up. Quite often, people don't believe that's what the problem is. They think it's something else. But quite often, that really is the problem. The problem is that the acids from your stomach are even if it's in a very minute way, it doesn't take much to cause your larynx to become inflamed to some degree, and the vocal cords as well. And so it's the swelling inside your larynx that causes you to want to clear your throat. And the problem is that people think, well, there's something in there, I have to get it out, or I feel like there's a lump in my throat. That lump in your throat is also the swelling that's going on in there from reflux. And the problem with it is that it's just something that has swollen. There's nothing in there that you can really clear out like you think. And clearing your throat constantly is not going to stop that swelling from happening. So the feeling of a lump in your throat, the feeling of clearing your throat. Now there can be mucus, and even if it's a little bit of mucus, I mean, the number one job of your larynx is to stop anything from getting down into your lungs or causing any kind of inflammation, or any kind of foreign object, to clear it immediately. So, if you're out at or if you don't know even, if you're at the movie theater and you're eating some popcorn, you get a little kernel in there and you want to cough it off, that's the first thing, you get that stuck in there, you'll cough to expel that kernel. When that happens, everything is working the way it should. There has been a foreign object that's been introduced to the system, and the reflex is to cough it off and get rid of it. Pow, it's gone, and you've accomplished that. But again, as I'm telling you, if it's about reflux and if it's about swelling in your larynx, that's a different topic. So not to be redundant, but I'm going to say it again. The job of the larynx, the original task and job of the larynx, is not for speech, although us as singers are certainly interested in that. Its number one job, again, is to protect the lungs. And if anything looks like it's going to get down there, its job is to immediately expel it. And so if you start to feel some swelling, it's very sensitive to that. And your brain is going to fire off, and it's going to start saying, get that out of there. And so you'll clear your throat, you'll cough, you'll do these things because the brain is sending that signal. But the truth is that there's nothing to expel. That's why understanding reflux and doing something about reflux is the way that you solve that particular problem. So what I'm saying, again, is that sometimes it can be mucus or something that the larynx is protecting you from and you're expelling it, and that's correct. But sometimes when you think that you have something in there, if it seems like you're always coughing and having a problem, it may be from reflux. And what do you do about reflux? Well, don't eat so late at night, right off. That's the first thing to understand. Eat a few hours before you go to bed. Late night eating can really cause a problem. Some people can get away with it and some people can't. If you do eat late at night, and let's be real, If you're a singer and you've been performing all evening and you just got home, your mind is active, you've just had a great evening of performance, and you've expelled a lot of energy performing, and it's time to raid the icebox. Nothing more fun than coming home after a great gig, raiding the icebox and turning on the television maybe and just mindlessly watching something, or just staying up a little later. And then passing out because you're exhausted. So what do you do in that case? Antacids. Simple as that. Get some Tums. And if you are going to eat late at night, try to stay up a little while after you eat, and then take an antacid so you can get those acids to not get up and burn your vocal folds. And you'll find that practice will help. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the way you do it all the time. Don't say, okay, well, all I have to do is take some antacid and be all right. Because you won't. You'll still have problems. But this is the way to handle it. Try not to eat late at night when you can, but when you do, take an antacid, and that should help you. That's one of the musical tips of the week here. Now, I know there are some of you listening to this and going, hey, wait a minute, it's not either one of those. I have allergies, and it's my allergies, and that's my problem. And that may be the case if you know your body and you have allergies, and if you know the difference between an allergy and a cold, because sometimes, to tell you the truth, I doubt it. I have students coming in all the time, and they'll come in sick with a cold, and they'll say, oh, it's my allergies. And I'm panicked all the time. I try to send everybody away who I think even resembles the idea that they might be sick, because if they get me sick, I'm done. I can't teach voice until I get well again. And so any student that privately takes from me for any length of time will tell you, yeah, if I come in and I'm sneezing, he'll send me away. And I do. I try to tell everybody, hey, don't take it personally, but if it looks to me like you have a cold, even if you think you have allergies, you need to go away. And so then they'll go, oh no, I know the difference, I know the difference. And usually the difference is that you're coughing and sneezing, you have itchy eyes and so forth, but you're not really sick, you're not carrying a fever. Those are good indications that it is allergies. Or if you absolutely go from one location to another and drive through an area, and that area you start coughing and sneezing, and then you get out of that area and you stop, well, obviously it's allergies, and you drove through an area or you moved through an area that is activating those allergies, meaning that there's a weed or a flower or something with your name on it. So again, becoming aware of that, doing what it is that you need to do to take care of that. Now, if you have allergies and you're taking allergy medicine, you have to be careful about that, because you need to tell your physician that you're a singer, because they can prescribe things that will really dry up the mucus, but drying up the mucus from the allergy also dries up your vocal folds, gives you a dry throat, and no matter how much water you drink, you still may have a problem. So if a physician understands that you're a singer, they'll give you something that thins the mucus rather than completely dries you out. And that could help you as a singer. So you need you need to know these special things if you're a vocalist. Tell you the truth, if you have allergies all the time and you're a singer, I feel sorry for you, because it's definitely not something that's going to help you as a professional singer. That's for sure. I don't have allergies. I do catch colds. I do get sick, and I do my very best not to, but colds I catch. Very seldom do I have any allergy problems whatsoever. I've never had to take allergy medications in my life, and I'm not bragging. I know that I'm lucky, because what I do for a living, it would be really tough to have to deal with that. Anyway, my tips: acid reflux, or if you think you have that lump in your throat, deal with the acid reflux by not eating so late. And also, when you do eat late, take an antacid. Keep your mouth very clean. I talked about that last musical tip. Floss, even get one of those tongue scrapers and do that 2 or 3 times a week. Keep the gick out of there. And those things will help you immensely as a singer. So, musical tip of the week. And hey, if you're on YouTube, come on over. Check us out, totallyvocals.com. Hundreds of songs, both for male and females, broken down into lessons. All kinds of courses, beginning, intermediate, advanced, harmony singing course, a melisma course that teaches vocal licks and embellishments, ear training courses. There's just so much over here and constantly growing. Famous singers and non-famous singers alike on the website, but all great singers. So check it out, totallyvocals.com.